Welcome to today's explainer. If you or someone you love is facing the reality of substance dependence, you know exactly how terrifying the mere thought of stopping can be. Taking that very first step towards recovery, it often feels like standing right at the edge of a steep cliff. But what if, instead of a cliff, there was a bridge? A secure, carefully monitored bridge designed to carry you safely to the exact other side. Today we're exploring the concept of medical detox. We're going to unpack this whole process together because the truth is, understanding exactly how medical detox works replaces that fear with facts and uncertainty with a clear, incredibly safe path forward.
Okay, let's dive into this. What actually happens to your body when you simply stop using? To truly grasp detox, we first have to understand this physical reality. I want you to imagine an engine that's been running way too hot for way too long. When a person uses drugs or alcohol over months or even years, their body and brain actually change their chemical processes to work with those substances. They literally start relying on them just for normal operation. So when you suddenly remove those substances, that engine doesn't just quietly turn off. No way. It misfires and the entire system reacts pretty negatively.
Here is our clear roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover the reality of withdrawal, what medical detox actually is, stabilizing the body, safety steps, and finally, life after detox. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The reality of withdrawal.
It is absolutely fascinating, but also, frankly, a bit terrifying to see what happens under the surface here. Internally, your brain's levels of vital neurotransmitters like dopamine and GABA become severely unbalanced. Because substances previously suppressed or overstimulated these systems, the brain suddenly just becomes hyperactive. And externally, well, this translates to intense anxiety, insomnia, and major mood swings. Moving deeper, your autonomic nervous system becomes totally dysregulated. This physical recalibration causes really intense symptoms like sweating, a rapid heart rate, nausea, and in severe cases, even seizures. Your body is essentially just scrambling to function without the substance it had adapted to. And because of those severe physical reactions, trying to detox cold turkey at home, it's unsafe and highly unpredictable. It offers absolutely zero medical support if life-threatening symptoms like delirium tremens or major heart issues suddenly pop up. Now contrast that completely with medical detox, which provides a safe, comfortable environment with round-the-clock monitoring and medications specifically used to ease discomfort. It is the compassionate, professional safety net that catches you when your body's systems are misfiring. Section 2. What medical detox is.
So the crucial point here is that medical detox is a professionally supervised process designed to safely clear substances from your system, all while managing and easing those withdrawal symptoms. And I want to be super clear about something right now. This isn't some cold, punishing, or purely clinical procedure. Not at all. It's a highly monitored, deeply human method of care designed to gently bring your nervous system back into balance. The whole point is keeping you safe and comfortable.
It is super important to manage our expectations, though. The primary goal here is stabilization, not a complete instant cure for addiction. Detox alone doesn't fix the underlying issues, the cravings, or the psychological triggers. Rather, it's the vital, necessary first step that essentially clears the slate. It's what makes the actual work of long-term rehabilitation and psychological recovery even possible. Moving on to Section 3, stabilizing the body.
Now, what's really interesting about this part is just how targeted this compassionate care actually is. If withdrawal is that overheating engine we talked about, the medical professionals and their specialized tools, they act as the coolant. These aren't just your generic, everyday painkillers. These are specialized comfort medications prescribed to directly counter the chemical chaos happening in the brain. For opioid withdrawals, medications like buprenorphine and methadone are used to reduce cravings and stabilize your brain chemistry. For alcohol or sedative withdrawal, benzodiazepines help prevent seizures and drop that severe anxiety. Clonidine manages high blood pressure and agitation, while anti-nausea and sleep aids tackle stomach discomfort and insomnia. This is truly human-centered care, ensuring you just don't have to suffer needlessly while your body is clearing out the substances.
And the really reassuring news is that this incredibly difficult phase, it's temporary. Initial symptoms generally begin within hours of your last use. Then, the absolute peak of those acute, uncomfortable symptoms usually hits around the 3-day mark. But get this, by day 7, for most substances, the body actually stabilizes and successfully clears the drugs or alcohol. Now, sure, while things like benzodiazepines might require a longer, more gradual taper, the big takeaway here is forward momentum. You are generally looking at a matter of days to get through the hardest physical part. That's huge.
All right, Section 4,
safety steps, and monitoring.
The entire detox process is built completely around you. It kicks off with a personalized intake assessment, which immediately transitions right into round-the-clock vital monitoring. You are literally never alone in this. From there, careful medication management and continuous nutritional and mental support ensure you aren't just, a number in a bed. You're a person receiving hydration, proper nutrition, rest, and supportive counseling to help stabilize your mood during a really vulnerable time. Let's look a bit closer at that 24/7 monitoring. Licensed medical providers, we're talking physicians, nurses, addiction specialists, they are continuously tracking these specific metrics: heart rate patterns, blood pressure, stress levels, and hydration via IV fluids. And why is this so absolutely critical? Because by constantly watching these vitals, the care team can prevent medical emergencies before they ever even start. If your blood pressure spikes, they see it right away and intervene. This continuous presence is the ultimate safety net, providing a profound level of peace of mind. Let's move to section 5 and see how this builds into life after detox. As we noted earlier, detox is just the beginning. The next steps in recovery are where you really address the behavioral patterns and the psychological roots of substance use. So, depending on your personal needs, you might transition directly into inpatient residential rehab, maybe a partial hospitalization program, or an intensive outpatient program. You'll engage in specialized therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavior therapy. This is exactly where you learn the coping mechanisms required to maintain your newly stabilized body. There's a thought from the source material that sums this all up beautifully. It says, detox breaks the physical bonds of addiction, but the psychological bonds still must be addressed. Getting through detox is an incredibly brave, completely critical foundation. It unties the physical knot of dependence. But to ensure that knot doesn't just tie itself right back up again, professional therapy absolutely must follow to heal the emotional and psychological sides of the equation. We started this explainer by talking about the absolute fear of taking that first step, and that steep cliff so many people envision. But as we've seen today, medical detox is a highly structured, deeply compassionate, and medically supervised bridge. It turns an unpredictable, dangerous withdrawal into a manageable, remarkably safe transition. The tools, the medications, and the dedicated humans are right there waiting to catch you. So the only question left to consider for yourself or for that loved one you're trying to help is this: are you ready to take that first safe step across the bridge toward a healthier, fully supported future? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this knowledge empowers you in the path ahead.